Okay, guys, so there's a lot of stuff to get to with this video, and it's probably going to be a little bit weird with the edits. I had forgot to showcase something. So this is the stock Walbro 198A used on the Husqvarna 357 XP and also on the 359. They're really specific carburetors and they got a lot of issues. Well, here's the Chinese replacement carburetor. Let's turn them up this way because this is the way it actually goes. Well, with this right here, I was not getting an air leak, but the saw was still running extremely erratic. So the carburetor itself had problems, and you will see that they get addressed in this video, and hopefully it works. This one right here, the carburetor was just fine, but it had an air leak around the intake. It's because this cutout right here, let me change the camera angle here. All right. That little cutout right there is for that spring. You can see the spring. It's just a little footing for that spring for your butterfly, right? It's that size, right? The Chinese one is that size. It not only is bigger, but it goes further in, right? It needs to have stopped way back here. So what I was doing with this Chinese carb, even though there's nothing wrong with the carburetor, I was constantly getting an air leak right here. And the factory Walbro carb, the carb itself was running erratically, and I just couldn't figure it out. And at this point, I believe that I have figured it out completely, and we will showcase the rest of this video right now. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Novice Lumberjack, where I'm going to attempt to show you, hopefully fix this HDA 198A carburetor that is for my 357 XP. There are differences between this one and the 199 and probably every other carb. I don't know. But anyways, first off, I want to address, before I forget, this one does not have the O-rings that you see sometimes around the jets or jet. So we don't have to worry about that. I've already checked. It does not have the O-rings. It's not built for them. They're not there. They were never intended to be there on this carb. So anyways, real quick first, I've done a lot of stuff. I've already replaced the needle seat to needle valve right there. I've already replaced that, and it is sealing better, but it is still not fixed. Let me show you just real quick. All right, it's supposed to be able to hold 15 pounds of pressure. It's pretty good, but it is leaking down. All right, so you can see it's continuing to drop. It'll continue to drop all the way down to about 10 PSI. Yeah, PSI, I guess that's PSI. But let me show you where it's leaking. Bada bing, immediately, you see it. It's not leaking around the needle seat anymore. It's leaking around the fuel pump. That's what you call this portion up here. This is your fuel pump. Or you could call it a fuel pump diaphragm, whatever you want to call it. Point is there you go. That part's done. I showed you that it is leaking still. Even though I replaced the needle valve, it is still leaking. All right, now, moving on. Let's fix it one step at a time. The thing that everybody likes to talk about with these carburetors is the diaphragm on this here side. Right? What we have is an extra hole right there. That extra hole. So we have a kit right here. This kit actually came from Dub. Dub sent it along with a carburetor for one of the Polands. But I'm just grab the diaphragm here and we'll put it on there. And it fits just fine, but that hole is missing. Da-da-da. Same thing with the gasket as well. That hole, I got it on the wrong way. Or did I? Oh, which way do these things go? Yeah. It has a hole here, but it's supposed to be over there. So it's missing the hole as well. So what do we do, right? What we do is we put this on. We put the actual diaphragm on. It's hard to do this so that you guys can see everything. All right. Now you could do this with a drill. I'm going to do it with a little punch setup. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we have that hole there that we need. Now you need to check inside there that it went all the way through. Yeah, there we go. Now you could drill it out, whatever. That's the way I chose to do it. These are center punches, just to, anyways, to center. So, all right, now we got that set. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, all you had to do is drill a hole in the top cover. Well, I had already drilled a hole in the top cover. I know about that. All right. I still had problems with this carb. Now, some people think that all you got to do is this, and they might be right. I don't know. Some people also still think that you still have to have this extra hole in your gasket and diaphragm setup right there that we just made. Right there. All right. Well, now I've got both. All right. So let's not focus on that anymore. Let's put that off to the side. And now let's dig into this side right here, because this is where we were actually leaking. Could possibly be some debris in there. I don't think that there is. It doesn't show any debris. Oh well, we don't know. But what we do know is we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace that with new stuff out of the kit. And we hope that this is going to take care of the problem. All right, so the way this goes on. I don't like, look at that, there's dimples right there. Can you see that? Looks like somebody smacked on it a little bit. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. Should go on just like that. Should. Maybe I'm wrong. There we go. That's the way it goes. That right there. That's it. That's how it goes on there. Let's get the top cover. Again, difficult to do this with a camera in between me and the carburetor, but you're welcome. All right, now, you don't have to really manhandle that, but get it nice and tight. We're good. All right, like I said, I already checked that metering valve. It doesn't leak. But let's go ahead, while it's still apart here, hook our pump back up to it. And see if it will hold pressure. Looking down on me, pressing down, whatever. I'm no David Bowie. And we're still dropping. Let's see if it's still leaking around the same place. Yep, immediate. Good Lord. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this right back off. And I'm going to see if I can fix this by taking this gasket and letting it sponge up a whole bunch of two-stroke oil. Let's do the same thing with this, just because, why not? I can't figure out a reason not to, so we're doing it. All right, let's put it back together. All right. Haha. Oh, yeah. Soapy water. And it is holding. We got more than 15 PSI. Ooh, ooh, we're going to call it good right there. Okay, so I am going to put it back together. You don't need to see that assembly from this point, whatever. And we'll see if it works. So yeah, I tried several times back and forth, and I kept finding a leak around the gasket on the fuel pump side, not the diaphragm side that allows more fuel in, the fuel pump side there that I was just working on. That's your fuel pump side. And there was nothing I could do. It was just constantly leaking. I cleaned it, put it back together, blah, 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 blah. And as you saw right there, I put a brand new gasket and stuff on it, and it was still leaking. But, you know, with that right there, it probably would have fixed itself whenever I ran the saw, because it would have absorbed the fuel. But little tricks help. Look at that. It's still holding. So I watched 2 videos on these carburetors, and I want to give credit to where credit is due. Scott Coons, he's known as Tree Monkey from the forums, but on YouTube it's just Scott Coons. He had a good video helping explain these things. And Samish Sawworks, I really loved that guy's channel, but he hasn't been creating footage for a long time, a few years now, I believe. But anyways, fingers crossed on this, boys and girls. Hopefully we just fix the carburetor issues. Oh, and I almost forgot completely. We're still holding pressure, so I'm gonna let that pressure go. I'll probably go back and put this at the very beginning of the video. So let me show you the difference between this carb and the made in China carb. Okay, I hope that wraps up any questions about the carburetor. Next thing is to actually test this out and see if it works. This video is going to be long already, so I'll have that in a different video.